Hello, everyone. Welcome to my analysis, theory, breakdown, whatever you want to call it, of the third and final trailer that we got of Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. This trailer shook me to my core. I've been thinking about it the past over 24 hours now. They released the trailer yesterday, the day of as I'm recording this anyway. April 13th, 2023, they released this trailer, and it's just absolutely amazing. It's so beautiful, and it makes me realize just how much I cannot wait until this game is released. Until we get to that point, though, I would like to make this video to share my thoughts and feelings about what we are going to see in this game and what some of these things in this trailer might mean. If you have similar ideas or if you have different ideas, please let me know in the comments. I would love to discuss with you and just get your input really about what you feel, because in the end, none of us know for certain. None of us will know for certain until the game is released and we play it. But I would still like to know some of your thoughts and feelings about these things. So without further ado, let us dive into this trailer and let me show you some of the things that stood out to me. And then at the end of the trailer, I'm going to share some of my thoughts. So let's dive into this. I'm also going to disappear off camera real quick just so that we can experience this beautiful trailer in all its glory and not have me block any of it out. So let's see this, shall we? Okay. I love the look of these sky islands. They just look so beautiful and so peaceful. Love that construct fighting a choo-choo. And this one chopping at a tree. That version of the main theme just chills. Okay, right off, we can see these Zonai towers. They're going to be present throughout the video. And I'm going to be annoying and point them out probably a lot, so you'll have to forgive me. But that's what I'm calling them anyway, Zonai towers. They aren't Sheikah towers. The Sheikah towers and Sheikah shrines are completely, or have been completely, absent from all of the trailers that we have seen. So actually, that's my first thought that I want to get into. I think that at the start of the game, they are going to acknowledge that. They're not going to just not bring up the fact that the Sheikah towers and shrines are no longer anywhere on Hyrule Field. I think that Zelda is going to bring that up, and I think that she's going to bring up the idea that maybe they sunk beneath the ground, along with the, I wouldn't call them towers necessarily, but tower-like things that surrounded Hyrule Castle. I think she's going to bring up that all of those things have disappeared and maybe they sunk beneath the ground again. And I think that's what's going to initiate and kind of get the idea of let's travel underground and find out where they went and if we can find them underground. And I feel like that's what starts their journey to underground, to kind of find out what happened with these things. And instead of finding out what happened to them, they find Ganondorf. That's my thoughts. The Divine Beasts, however, I have no idea what could have happened to them. And honestly, all these things could have just very well just disappeared, and they might not bring it up at all. That could be a thing as well. But I'm sticking with my thought that Zelda thinks they might have sunk beneath the ground and she wants to go explore and find out. And that's what leads us to finding Ganondorf. But let's continue on. It's very interesting. If you listen to the music on from this point of the trailer on, it's very, very, very similar to the music that they used in the big theatrical trailer like this for Breath of the Wild. And you could almost play these trailers side by side, and they match up almost perfectly from the way that Link moves, um, from the way the music is, how it's soft and then it's intense and then it's soft again. I love this style from Nintendo. I'm not even mad that it's so similar. I actually really, really like it. From here, we can see one of these spirally things that doesn't have the green energy around it, which is interesting. Also see this circular thing that we'll get a better look at later. It's up there right next to Kakariko Village. And another Zonai Tower. Hyrule Field has actually changed quite a bit. All these blocks from the Sky Islands as well. Very interesting. And it looks like one of those etchings on the ground over there within the trees as well. Hateno Village. Looks like it has changed quite a bit. It got a big old pot on top of this place, so that must mean like that's your normal store. And this looks like one of the, I don't know how to zoom, so you have to forgive me. But this looks like one of the, almost like the Sheikah monk that you fight. I forgot his name in the DLC of Breath of the Wild. Almost looks like him when he's got his arms spread out, which is very interesting. Also, you got these mushroom-looking things literally everywhere in the village now. Kind of weird. And another Zonai Tower. All these tents right here, right in this is pretty much the courtyard, because past that gate, especially over here this way, that's where you find the one memory in Breath of the Wild. So it's interesting that people have set up tents and stuff in here. I mean, the Guardians, I haven't seen a Guardian yet in any of these trailers as well. Unless you want to count those legs shooting up out of the ground at Link in the last trailer, unless you want to count that as a Guardian. We have not seen any of the Guardians in any of the latest trailers either, so they must be completely gone as well. Zonai Tower again, and also that circular thing over in Kakariko Village again. Here we get a better look at that circular thing, and here's another one of those spiral things, except this one has the energy around it. And I could be very wrong about this. Please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, because I'm pretty bad at pinpointing stuff exactly. But this kind of looks like Impa's house, and it looks like it's gone, because her house used to stand pretty tall, but it looks like it's just gone now. Looks like it's been flattened or replaced with a different house. And this is sitting pretty much right where that one shrine used to sit, which is very interesting. This looks like that one place. I'm terrible with names, so you have to forgive me, but this looks like the one place over there, kind of right outside Lost Woods. The challenge that you had to do where it was completely enshrouded in darkness. I always called it the Zonai challenge because everything in there, like the statues and stuff, were all Zonai. So it's very cool. If that is what this place is, it's very cool that it's no longer enshrouded in darkness. You got this cyclone type thing above the Hebra Mountains still. Still no idea what's going on there, although there is a creature that we'll see later on that I wonder if he has something to do with this. This makes me the most excited. I'm not entirely sure if this is where we're at, but I want to believe. Sorry if I'm being very loud. I just realized how close I was to my mic. I want to believe that this is the Arbiter's grounds. If you look into the Breath of the Wild map, it does have a map. It does have a location in the Gerudo Desert specifically named the Arbiter's grounds. Now, I can't exactly remember because it's been way too long since I've played Breath of the Wild. So I can't remember exactly how things are set up in that area, all these stones and stuff. I can't remember exactly what they look like. So this might not be that exact area, but I'm really hoping it is, because I would love it if this sand just draining out and letting these things rise up from the ground. I would love it if this is the Arbiter's grounds, or maybe, you know, Gerudo Fortress, the Spirit Temple. Gerudo Fortress and Spirit Temple is like really, really hopeful thinking, like almost too far out there to even consider. So you have to forgive me on those. But it would be cool to see some of these Gerudo old buildings that we're familiar with come to life again. Arbiter's Grounds has the most hope, I feel, especially since there was an actual area on the map named Arbiter's Grounds, and some of the stones and stuff did match up and kind of look like the top where the Mirror Twilight sat. But yeah, you never know, man. Never know with Zelda. I love that sound design. I love that the rocks, the blocks, rocks, whatever you want to call them, from the sky as they're crashing down, they actually are very thunderous as they're crashing down, just proving and showing how much this is affecting the land of Hyrule. You can't see it very well because my thing, this little bar at the bottom won't get out of the way when I'm in pause mode. But these look like Sheikah from Kakariko Village on top of this hill witnessing this. This must be not long after the castle rose up. And obviously the blocks are all falling down at this pretty much all at the same time right now. So they're probably freaking out like, oh my gosh, what's going on? This guy in particular, I mean, I could be very wrong, but he reminds me of, and again, terrible with names, but he reminds me of the guy that you do the side quest for, where he tries to give up that spirit orb, the Sheikah orb to the Yiga clan guy, but you stop it all from happening, and then you unlock the shrine, the shrine. That's what I think this guy is. I mean, it looks a lot like him anyway. Now, I know a lot of people have had a lot to say about this shot right here. A lot of people feel like this is Demise, and I'm not completely throwing that out the window. It could very well be. I understand why they feel that way. I mean, he's scaly right here, like Demise is. His hair is much more flamey rather than actual hair like Demise is. But I feel like this is very early on in the game. I feel like this is going to be when Ganondorf transforms from his skeletal self and gets back his flesh, his skin, and becomes again the Gerudo King that we know and love. Because he's wearing his Gerudo garb right here. You can see at the bottom past this stupid bar. And he's got his regular arm right there. Kind of the greenish color. A greenish color, which is weird. But I also want to pay close attention to his surrounding here. He's got these blocks to the left and right of him, which matches up to this shot later on. Oh, I forgot. It's after the malice part. When he pulls his arm out to the side to show himself off finally, you see the same block over here to the left. And this is right as he shows himself like, hey, I'm back, and he does his epic scream. So I feel like this is just him gaining back his body in full, getting his skin, his flesh, everything is coming back to him. Again, I'm not saying that Demise is not going to be in this game. In fact, I have a theory that he might be. It's not my main theory, but it is a theory that I will bring up for those of you Demise lovers, so don't worry. But this part right here, I just do not see. My thing is I do not see Nintendo spoiling such an epic moment as Demise returning on their trailer. I feel like they're going to savor that and wait to surprise you in the game of, oh, here's Demise. And if that does happen, it's going to be even more epic than this. This is already epic. I mean, this is a phenomenal shot. But Demise actually coming, I feel like Nintendo is going to keep it secret and make that scene even more epic. I've heard a lot of people say, well, Ganondorf's hair is not really that long. If you go back and watch that first trailer where he's skeletalized, his hair is pretty long. I mean, this is about that same length. Now, again, it looks more flamey here than actual hair, and I can agree with that. But again, I feel like it's just part of the transformation phase. I feel like this is just Malice encompassing him and finally letting him have his way and have his body back. Which sounds kind of weird, but at the same time, kind of epic. So this is something interesting. Before, in shots that we've seen before where Link caught Zelda, his arm is still normal. He's got his gauntlet on, he's got his glove on. Here in this shot where he misses catching her, his arm is completely covered in Malice still, and he misses the catch. His arm is really messed up here, and it's no wonder he needed the other hand, the Zonai hand, to attach to him and give him help. As she's falling here, a light kind of starts to encompass her. I've heard some people on the internet and seen some people on the internet say that they feel that this is the Zonai helping her. I disagree. I respectfully disagree. I think that this is Hylia, and I will show why in a little bit. But I feel that Hylia saved Zelda from this fall. This I love. Absolutely. Link is, I think he's running. I don't really want to pause and unpause just to find out. But this, the sand is starting to sink. It's starting to drain out, which could, again, bring these, oh my gosh, these old structures back to life, which could be very cool. This looks like an image of Hylia over there. And also this kind of reminds me right here, this reminds me of that one shrine challenge where the shrine thing was on against the mountain and you had to shoot it with a shock arrow to make a shrine appear. Maybe you have to do something similar, but with something Zonai against this one in order to drain out all this sand to possibly get to a dungeon? Could be. Very cool. This, I feel that we are inside a dungeon. I feel like this is going to be this game's version of the Fire Temple. There's walls, there's some sort of fence up there. Link's in his fire gear, so he has to ward off the heat. He has to keep the heat off of him, much like how he had to wear, well, if you're a speedrunner or or a randomizer player, I guess you don't need the fire tunic in Ocarina of Time's Fire Temple. But for a first time playthrough and just an average playthrough to have fun, you normally wear the fire tunic in the fire temple. So I feel like this is going to be this game's version of the fire temple. This, he's up in the sky. He's up on the Sky Islands. This is definitely a Sky Island he's standing on, and he's got these pirate type ships circling about him. I feel like this is going to be inside that cyclone. This actually looks like it's inside that cyclone. So this is above the Hebra Mountains, which would make sense since it's snowing and stuff. So that's very cool. I have no idea what these ships are or why, what their purpose is, but very cool shot nonetheless. This is very cool. This is one way, I guess, that he's going to be able to travel and get to higher islands, jump inside these water things, and then he must use this platform right here as like a footstool to kind of stand on for a second to jump from it. Very interesting. Very cool design. You're going to get sick of hearing me say this all the time, but I feel like this is inside a dungeon as well. This just screams to me a dungeon challenge to get to either a chest where the boss key is or something. I mean, it could very well just be an entrance into one of the tunnel systems, but at the same time, I just don't see that being a thing. Because if it's an entrance to a tunnel thing, then that would tell me that you're going to have to go through something like this all the time. I don't see that happening. I see this being something that you just go through for a temple or a dungeon. This new armor is sick. He pulled a Batman. He's got his stiff glider thing here so that he doesn't have to actually pull out the glider. His body just becomes a glider, which is very, very cool. Cannot wait to get that armor set. We're going to come back to this later on, but we're inside this circular thing up in the sky right now, which we'll see an outside view of later on. This thing honestly looks like we're twisting this thing up to drop a ball out of, and if it has a good reward, then cool. No, I'm just kidding. No, this kind of looks like those things that were inside the water bubbles that he jumped inside of, so that's pretty cool. If that's how you dispense them out, and maybe that's how you set them up to get from one island to another. If so, that'd be very, very cool. We're inside one of the mazes. Now, this could be a new maze or one of the old mazes. Something interesting, though, is if this is one of the old mazes, it doesn't have malice in it like it used to. Like, a bunch of these mazes used to have malice. Not everywhere necessarily, so maybe there still is somewhere. But it's very interesting that we're coming back to these mazes. And the very first time I saw this, I felt like this maze was kind of collapsing because it felt like it was getting narrower. But the more I watch back on it, I guess it doesn't seem like it's getting narrower. Must just be an optical illusion. But I'll be very interested to seeing if this is a new Zonai maze or if this is one of the old ones that has been taken up to the sky. Very cool that Link's just twirling this thing around. Very cool that we're fighting alongside Hylians here against these enemies. And we're going to come back to that thought, but very cool. Just so that I don't have to pause it right away again after this thought that I'm going to make with what happened just before this. I feel like this is definitely a Zonai. Look at the bands on his arms. They match the bands that were on the hand that was holding down Ganondorf. And it looks like our friend here is not alone. Looks like he has some friends to the sides of him. So we might be meeting a few different Zonai, which is very, very cool. And something that concerns me, though, is there's what appears to be malice bubbles coming up from behind him. So either we're in an area where malice has affected it, so he's talking to us for help, like, hey, we need to get rid of this stuff, or they themselves are corrupted. I'm going to go with the former. I think he's coming to us for help. Very cool looking. Very, very cool looking, though. Let's come back to this, though. Because there's something that I noticed when I was skipping through like this. There it is. We all thought... Sorry, that looks very blurry on Link's face, but it's important for this right here. The Sheikah Slate is still a thing. I know that I myself thought the Sheikah Slate would be completely done and gone and forgotten about, especially since Link got his arm powers, new arm powers, but that is definitely a Sheikah Slate. I don't know what this translates out to be. I would have to look that up, but very cool that we have the Sheikah Slate. Some sort of cord coming out here, and Link's holding something between his legs that this cord is actually rolled up in. So kind of like a winch almost. That's interesting. This, I feel like, is going to be the entrance to a dungeon. We're definitely up in the Sky Islands because of this Zonai orb here, but we're outside, hence why this just ends here. I feel like this is the doorway to a dungeon, and this construct is coming out to fight you. And if you win the fight against him, then you get to enter this dungeon. If that is the case, I'm so excited because I feel like that will be so perfect to be tested before you're able to enter a dungeon. That to me would just be icing on the cake. If you want to enter this dungeon, you have to pass the test of fighting me first. So he's like the guard of this dungeon. I don't know if this would be like... I want to say I don't think that this is endgame, but at the same time, all these light particles floating around, something important just happened. You just beat something or something here. That's why all these light particles are like this. I don't know, man. For the longest time, I was thinking, even up to this point, I was thinking, like, this is towards the beginning of the game, like, before the castle is taken up. But the more and more I look at these light particles moving around, it gives off the feeling of you just defeated something important in here, you're good to go now. And Link's arm has been damaged already, so I don't know, man. It looks like it has been anyway.
Zelda.
She's up in the Sky Island somewhere too. Zonai orbs.
We rely on your knight, and that legendary sword he carries.
We're in Korok Forest, and it looks like the Great Deku Tree is back. This looks like part of his trunk. You see a Korok there. So the Master Sword is being repaired, or maybe it's in its final repair state, back in its pedestal in the Korok Forest, which is very cool.
Our last line of defense will be Link.
This, I feel, is like the head of the Zonai, hence the big get up and stuff. And this is after Zelda's been doing stuff for a while, in my opinion. I feel like Zelda has been doing stuff for a while, so that's why she is finally at this point. This is definitely Zonai, though, because these bracelets, if you want to call them, on his arm match those of the hand that was holding down Ganondorf, and that gave Link power. I say that this is later in Zelda's journey though, because she's already wearing this tear around on her necklace, whereas before she was not, and I will show you what I mean by that a little bit later on in the trailer. She's crying though, so something is definitely worrying her.
Link.
There's that big circular thing I was talking about. So Link is on his way into it right now. He's gliding down to get into it, which is very, very cool. We're somewhere over near Goron Village. You have a couple, they look like baby Gorons right here. And I feel like this is a Goron as well. Maybe protecting his kids or something. This almost looks like Daruk's weapon that you got. Hopefully it is. That would be very cool if you still had the champion's weapons to remember them by and stuff. So maybe you're either helping a Goron train, because you're fighting with the different races of Hyrule against Ganon's forces. So you're either helping him train, or he thinks you're an enemy, so he's attacking you. Flying around with Teba's son, so cool. Hey, another one of those ships. Okay, so Teba's son comes up with you into the Sky Islands. Very cool. Ferrying some people around. I cannot wait to do this to so many of those annoying Octoroks, man. An actual legitimate rocket. So cool. Oh, this is whatchamacallit island. Oh my gosh. The island where you had to drop all your weapons and stuff for that shrine quest. That is this island. That's gotta be. It's too reminiscent of it. Death Mountain just exploding with malice. Dude. It looks like it's becoming weak too, like how dark it is now. Again, I'm following up with my theory from before. I feel like Death Mountain is going to be destroyed, which is going to be insane. Those look like those same water things you were jumping between earlier, and now you're jumping between these things, which is cool. This I feel is in another dungeon. Again, you're going to get sick of me saying that. I feel like this is within that same fire dungeon, which is cool. So that fire dungeon would be up on a sky island, I think, because you're fighting a construct, and there's a Zonai orb right there. So this is definitely a dungeon, in my opinion, up on a sky island. And these constructs, I feel like they're not bad by any means. I feel like they're just doing what they were made to do, and that is to defend. Hence that construct that comes out of the wall at what I believe is the entrance of a dungeon. He's just defending. Defending/testing. This is very cool. Built this big, massive cart with a weapon on the end to take on a Talus with a Bokoblin camp on top. Very cool. Okay. Bokoblins have become worse with bow and arrows as time has gone on, because I know if this was me playing, both of those arrows would have hit me. How did both these arrows miss? Making an arrow with a rupee. Very cool. I love the horn outfit here. Whoa. And it gave him like several different earrings up the ear. Very cool. Oh, he shoots the top of it. Oh, this thing has glue on it. So this is something that Link put together. Oh my gosh, you can put things together like this? Okay, at first I thought this was something that fell from the sky until I just saw this glue. It's something that Link put together to kill the bokoblins when he shoots it. That is epic. Now, I know I'm going to be very wrong here, but this thing reminds me of those Leviathans that you had to take pictures of for the side quest in Breath of the Wild. Perhaps they came back to life somehow. Link's hooked up, geared up with some sort of ice gear as well. Got like an ice crown, ice something on his arms and on his legs. So new gear to help you, to keep you from freezing or getting frozen. Teba's son is here to help out and give support. Awesome.
I know why I am.
That shot, by the way. Well, first of all, that kind of reminds me of the cyclone as well. So maybe this is inside the cyclone as well. Maybe you were in here with the ships and then this thing came up to attack you. So maybe the different ships, this whole thing that's going on inside this cyclone, maybe it's not necessarily a dungeon, but a test that you have to go through. Very, very cool, man. This shot reminds me of what happened to Beast Ganon at the end of Breath of the Wild. So this is either a flashback or something similar happens. Wait just a gosh dang minute. I see an eye, I see an eye, I see a mouth. And a horn on the side. That looks like... Oh, dude. I paused it there by accident too, and I did not even think about this until just this moment. That looks like the exact depiction of Demise in the story that they tell in Skyward Sword when they talk about Demise gathering his army to fight against Hylia and her army. That looks exactly like the depiction of Demise that they give. Oh my gosh. Demise is coming back, isn't he? I still don't think that that one clip that we saw earlier was Demise. I still think that's Ganondorf just coming back fully. But that oh my gosh. I am shook right now. I've missed that. I've watched this trailer like 10 times and I've missed that every time. How? Oh my. I need to rewind further. I need to try to... Oh, now I missed it. Now it's... Did I just... Maybe that's not really what that was. Maybe I just got lucky. That was insane, though. Okay. No, I'm still sticking by that might have been what that was. And I just glitched past the system and found Nintendo's secret. Here, Zelda's not wearing that tear. So this is still very early on in her journey. I guess that's not a tear. That just must be part of her face. Like, maybe the Zonai are like decking her out with face paint.
I know why I am here. It's something.
She's holding the tear that she's about to hook onto her necklace, and the Master Sword is laying here.
Only I can do.
That's the same symbol that's on the back of Link's hand, by the way. These stones here have writing on them, and I want to know what they say. But this is Skeletal Ganon. Shoots up this malice into the air.
Do not look away. You witness.
I love how they're slightly referencing Ganondorf's theme right there. Da, da, da. Very, very slight reference there. Love it.
King's revival.
We get a better look at how much the malice truly affected Link. I mean, it really grabbed onto him. And the Master Sword. It's no wonder the Master Sword broke.
And the birth of his new world.
This thing, I don't remember the name of the creature. Again, sorry, I'm just terrible with names. But in Wind Waker, in the Wind Temple, the final boss in that temple, who hides underneath the sand and tries to eat at you and stuff, this thing looks like one of the babies that guy shoots at you, just like completely roided out and massive. That's what this thing looks like. And this is up, and that's up in the Sky Islands. You're flying with Teba's son again. And there is Hylia in the flesh. I do not think that this is Zelda. I mean, it could make sense that Zelda just slowly went through this transition. That could very well be. I mean, maybe Zelda, like, gets a tear on her face, like, every time. But I feel like this just is Hylia, that she's separate from Zelda. This light is the same light that surrounded Zelda as she was falling, so that, in my mind, supports the theory that Hylia saved her. And this does look like the person that we see in this tapestry. For the most part, you got the tears underneath the eyes, the very long ears, the necklace with the tear on it. I feel like that is the person in the tapestry. I feel like that's the person that clasps hands with Zelda. And this is so freaking cool. This is lightning. And these are Moldugas just being mowed down. And the very next shot is Riju. Did Riju just master the freaking lightning ability like a boss and is just destroying Moldugas left and right with it? That is insane, and I love it. Big props to Buckethead Man here. He don't even have a weapon. He's just like, I'm ready. Let's go. Wish this was Yunobo. We have not seen Yunobo. We do not see Yunobo in this trailer. The only descendants that we see are Sidon, Rijo, and Teba's son. And possibly Teba himself. I will point that out in a minute. But not Yunobo. Which makes me wonder, like, what the heck happened with him? He might be too cowardly still. I don't know. This is the only shot that I can remember of an actual Gerudo, besides Riju, joining the fight as well. This I feel like is a depiction of like everyone just about to go to war with a bunch of bokoblins or other enemies.
You are not alone.
Sidon fighting beside Link up in the Sky Islands. It is very interesting to note that this is definitely up in the Sky Islands. Makes me wonder how Sidon got up here. It's very cool he's using the same weapon that his dear sister, our beloved Mifa, used to use. But yeah, this is up in the Sky Islands, and it makes me wonder, how did this guy get up here? Link using the same sword that he was just using in the previous scene, which is interesting. Maybe it's like a very durable, very awesome sword.
Link.
Oh, I just barely missed it. Oh, it is Teba's son still. Okay. When I very first did this, I paused right there and I thought the wings looked huge. And I thought, oh no, Teba's son died, so Teba joined the fight, but this is still Teba's son. So Teba must, something must have happened with him where he's not joining the fight with the other descendants. Interesting. Gleeok looking amazing. For those of you who don't know, Gleeok was in the very first Zelda game. Was the boss of... Is that level 6? I want to say level 6. Amazing. So glad that they brought him back. This does look like Lake Hylia Bridge that we're on, so that just must be where he resides. Because that's where he was in the previous trailer that they dropped. He was just chilling on Lake Hylia Bridge.
You are our final hope.
This I find very cool. They finally have Ganondorf on this tapestry. If you look at that other... If you look at this other thing, it only shows this part of the tapestry. Only shows his army, the Hylian army over here, some of the Hylian army dead. It does not show Ganondorf, it cuts off. But now, we're getting a bigger picture of it. And it still looks like the same... Still looks like the same exact tapestry. Yeah, because you've got the 3 Hylian warriors there, the one there. And you've got the 3 Hylian warriors there and the one there. So it's the same exact tapestry. You can't see the dead guy anymore because he's right behind this symbol. But Ganondorf, right behind his army. Very cool.
Link.
Something really cool here. Pay attention to where she's at. And I feel like this is the same shot from before. She's right next to this altar. I'm going to call it an altar. You've got these 2 things over here. Another set over here. This is the same shot as... I'm going to miss it because I'm always Oh. Almost. This is this area right here. Which is interesting. And in that clip, by the way, at the end, she says, "Come find me." Or, "Please find me." Something like that. Link here in this one, I, for the life of me, could not remember which trailer this came from. But he's standing at an altar, and there's a glowing orb there. This is my thought. I feel like Zelda was here waiting, couldn't wait any longer, so she left behind a memory, much like the memories that we've found in Breath of the Wild. They actually had that same yellowish glow to them. So by the time Link gets there, all that's left is the memory that she leaves behind. And maybe it's a tear. Maybe it's something else. Whatever it is, it resonates with the Master Sword and helps to restore it a little bit. So that is very exciting that we're going to be able to find these memories that she leaves behind. In my opinion, again, this whole thing is my opinion, but we're going to find these memories that she leaves behind at places like this and find out how to restore the Master Sword a little bit at a time. Now, finally, let's get to the theory of Demise coming back. I feel like it is a very big possibility I'm sure you've heard it been said before about this symbol behind the title. This symbol is very much so like what is known as an Ouroboros. I love this description of an Ouroboros. Normally it's only one snake, but I'm sure it would be the same with two. Ouroboros is an emblematic serpent of ancient Egypt and Greece, represented with its tail in its mouth, continually devouring itself and being reborn from itself. Now, if we look back at this, Ganondorf leading his army against this other army. Now, before, when we got this part of the tapestry was cut off. We didn't see Ganondorf. This part of the tapestry has always been cut off. We don't see who is in charge of this army. My guess would be that it's Hylia. And when it gets too much for Ganondorf the man and human form to handle, I think that Demise is going to take over, and he will lead the army, and it will lead us to Hylia, or maybe it'll be Zelda against Ganondorf at first, and then Zelda transforms into Hylia, Ganondorf transforms back into the Demise, and it starts everything right back over. Hylia takes the people up to the sky. I don't know, man. That is my thought. That is just where I am at right now. I feel like that is a very strong possibility. It would be a very interesting and cool way to end it. I would love it if it was just Ganondorf himself. But at the same time, I did love Demise. I absolutely loved Girahim, so it would be very cool if Girahim showed up again right alongside Demise. And heaven help me, I wouldn't even mind seeing Fi again. So that's my thoughts. That's my thoughts on this trailer. I feel like Nintendo did a very phenomenal job with this, and I'm hoping that some of my theories come true. But enough about my theories. Let me know about your theories. Let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen with Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, the most anticipated game probably in Nintendo's history. 7 years in the making, pretty much, right? Like, it's been about that long now. Like, my goodness, I know that this game is going to be just a joy. And I hope that Nintendo is true to its word when they say that this is going to be their darkest game yet. That would hurt me a little bit because Majora's Mask, which is currently their darkest game ever made, not my words, theirs, is my absolute favorite game of all time, mainly because of how dark and just how much it touched me when I was a kid playing it. This might be my adult version of Majora's Mask. Might be the game that just touches me with its darkness and its tone and just everything about it. So, I don't know. We will see in a month. I plan on trying to dive a little bit deeper into these trailers and try to find out more. Maybe I'll look into other theorist videos a little bit more now that I've officially come out with mine. See what ideas they've come up with. I didn't want to watch any before making mine because I was afraid I didn't want their ideas to overshadow mine and have me just speak their ideas, because that would be lame. So yeah, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think about this latest trailer and about all of the trailers all around. and what you think it's going to mean for the Zelda series. I mean, been strong since when? Since 1986. Who knows, man? I'm just giddy. I'm excited. Can't wait. And I hope that you guys feel the same. I know a lot of people are like, I don't know, man. Like, looks like a overpriced DLC. I know that people still feel that way. Personally, I think I think that's just a very sour way to look at it and not fair at all to Nintendo, because this trailer to me alone shows that they are putting everything they have into this game, or they have put in everything they have into this game, and I can't wait to play it. So, but again, let me know what you think of my thoughts and share with me your thoughts. I would love to know what you think about what we're going to see in this beautiful game in a month. And yeah, with that, everyone, thank you for watching. If you made it throughout this entire video, I really appreciate it, because this is one of my longest videos where I go on about what I think. So yeah, let me know what you think, and if you're not yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It would help a lot. And also like the video so that we're put out there more, so that others can see it as well. But with that, I thank you. I wish you all a happy and wonderful rest of your day if you watch this in the morning, or wonderful night if you watch this at night, whatever it may be. But yeah, with that, hope to see you around, whether in Twitch streams or in videos here on YouTube. And I'll see you later. Thank you very much.